So hey everybody, it's Angela from Essence Salon and Sanctuary. I'm here with Kevin today.
Hey guys.
And we're mainly going to be talking about consultations and why they're super important for your hairstylist and for you guys as a guest. So Kevin, why are consultations important? Let's start with important for the guest.
Yeah, they're really important for the guests because that's their introduction to knowledge for their visit. Everybody's coming into our salon or any salon really with a ton of questions, and I want us to be, instead of running to YouTube or Google, I want us to be that professional opinion on what they should or should not do to achieve a certain thing with their hair.
And I think too, to a point, okay, this is on YouTube, but what we're saying is that we think it's important because we have to see your hair, touch your hair,
yes,
all those things. So you can get general information on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
You can get general education on the internet.
Yes.
But your hair is going to be different than anybody else's.
Completely.
You can have fine hair, but you could have a ton of it.
Yeah.
You could have fine hair, but you could have very little of it. So.
And I think that's why you hear of all those kind of setbacks with online and following tutorials and stuff like that. It applies to one kind of canvas, and then you try to apply those principles to your own, and everything falls to pieces. And then you call Kevin, and hopefully not in tears, and hopefully you've left enough to work with.
It's true.
Yeah.
And even you have people come in and do a consultation, and it's great if you know your hair. The truth is, you know your hair more than anybody else.
Yep.
You might think that
more than us.
Yeah, you might think I don't know how to deal with my hair. But the truth is, you do know your hair more. Mm-hmm. You know how it dries. You know how mine dries kind of kinky. I know that, right? But you can find information on the internet. It's fine, your face shape, stuff like that. And we love that you have that information, but we want you to be open to learning a little more, or sometimes people don't realize what their face shape actually is. Mm-hmm. I remember once we did a class about face shapes, and somebody had a square face shape, and they couldn't get over it. They were like, I do not have it. I'm like, you do, and there's a way we can tell. You can use a piece of paper and everything like that if you really don't know. Mm-hmm. But as a hairdresser, we know. And sometimes you're like, I have, a round shape, but you don't. You actually have a square.
Right.
So be open to us saying from our professional point of view. Mm-hmm. But it is super important for the guests because what you said, it's information for them.
Yeah. I mean, we're all wandering around, utilizing what we've been taught so far. And really, unless that information about your hair is coming from a hairstylist, maybe it's coming from mom or dad, might not be the best. Or maybe it applies to them, and then not your hair. Even though genetics are a big thing, there's a lot of differences from mother, dad to kids, So
absolutely,
I like that.
Yeah.
And you know what? Having a consultation, and the fact that we do them complimentary, I think is great. Mm-hmm. You might not have been able to achieve something with your hair that you're dreaming of. And until you're told why that certain obstacle can't be jumped over, or here's what to do to get that, there's a lot of frustration there. Mm-hmm. I remember having somebody come in for a perm consultation, and it looked like she had lightened her hair, and that kind of automatically makes that canvas not a great, suitable canvas for that service.
It's compromised, basically, and we have to move forward very cautiously. Yeah.
So that it doesn't fall off.
Yeah. Nobody wants that kind of perm.
No. I'll do my haircuts with shears, I think.
Yeah.
But, when I did a deeper dive, I understood that it was not lightened. It was environmental impact. So where she lived, where she worked, was in a quarry. She was outside all day. Even though it wasn't lightened, it still made it inappropriate for that service. But prior, she was being turned away, and she had no idea why. All these salons were saying, nope, can't do it, nope. And, she didn't know if it's because I have long hair and it's too much work, or if they do perms at all, you know.
Yeah.
So a lot of questions, and that's not fun to leave with, I
No.
think.
Well, the reality of that story is she just kept trying, which
Right.
we don't blame her.
No,
Because
not at
it's,
all.
You
I
want
would.
what you want.
Yeah.
You want what you want, and you want what you don't have. So until
And I'm
it was
stubborn.
explained,
I want it.
right? Until it's fully explained, why,
hmm
you just think, okay, that person can't do it.
Yes.
They're
And
not
it's-
saying it's your hair. They're just saying it seemed like the hairstylist couldn't do it.
Yeah,
So yeah, absolutely.
right.
And there's a lot of information to gain. Like, I think a lot of people aren't sure about, the process, and we went to school for it, and we learned
That's a
continuously,
huge
right?
thing.
Like it's a lot. So
Yes.
they can't even understand it because they were never taught it.
No, and we went to school, as you said, to learn that, I think there's a lot of potential for embarrassment when approaching a consultation on a guest side of things, because they might feel like they should know this, or should know this by now is a big one that I hear. I should know how to detangle my hair by now. There's a lot involved in that, by the way. And until that information is shared with you by a professional who is educated, you're just guessing, or you're going by what somebody else has said,
Yeah, it's true.
right?
So a
So
consultation.
no stupid questions.
No,
is basically
never
the thing there.
stupid questions.
Zero stupid
No.
questions.
No.
Ask them all.
Yeah, no. Ask them all, and don't be afraid, because the more information that we are armed with, the better we can do your hair.
Yeah, the
Serve
better we can serve you,
Yeah.
or recommend things that you might want to try out.
Mhm.
If I get a good sense of who somebody is, and I also get the sense that they're kind of bored with what they're doing. If I have all the information at hand, I can recommend some things that you've probably never thought about to do with your hair, and expand that horizon.
Yeah.
And make you excited about your hair again. Hair is exciting.
It is exciting. I mean,
Maybe I'm
especially
biased.
for us.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it's our whole life, really. It's like
But it's expression, it's freedom,
sleep,
it's
breathe,
wellness.
eat. Is that what we do with hair?
Sorry?
Sleep, breathe, eat.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Eat can happen if you don't see where it's going, and you're getting into your layers. And I've tasted some
man, we
haircuts.
must be. Yeah.
It looks delicious.
Yeah.
It doesn't taste delicious.
I mean, if it's washed with our wonderful shampoo, it smells delicious.
Yeah. Pure polish.
So, I mean, you know that we've had people call here, and we require a consultation for every new guest. And for chemical services,
Especially.
yes. So chemical services meaning like colors and perms and that sort of thing, something that is altering your hair. We require a consultation first, meaning before we book, before we, see you,
Mm-hmm.
like do touch your hair. Really, we have a sit-down conversation with you, and sometimes we don't even touch your hair for 5 to 10 minutes.
Sometimes I don't touch the hair for
Kevin,
20
yeah,
minutes.
Sometimes with Kevin looks 20.
Yeah, I talk a lot, but there's-
you're getting through the questions, right?
yeah.
We believe that we want to make you feel comfortable, and just chatting like Kevin and I about your hair
Yeah.
is super important. However, there are sometimes people that call and we explain this, and they're like, no. And they don't want to take it. And that is okay.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not. However, we just might not be the salon for you, or you want it that day, which happens a lot.
We get it.
However, I guess my biggest thing is to impress upon them. If you could tell them what you think the most important thing about the consultation is for them.
Oh, I have to pick one thing.
One thing to let those people know why we push it.
The most important for me personally, but I think as well as our salon, and the whole reason why we do them in the first place, is integrity. Like, the integrity of your hair is so important. I want to say a secondary on that, but
I said one, but he's saying two.
I know I do this all the time.
Sorry.
But really, integrity is integral. I'm going to coin that. That's good. But, we want to make sure to get there without jeopardizing as much as possible. There's no point in having platinum blonde if it's going to look piecemeal, or fried or frayed, or it's sliding off your scalp, or every time you brush your hair, you have a mountain of hair in your hairbrush. There's no point in achieving that. That's not achieving in my mind. But when we have that ability to communicate to you the potential, or how long it's going to take, how many sessions it's going to take to get there, how much it's going to cost you financially and in time. Some of those projects, they are like 5 hour, 6 hour, 7 hour visits at the salon.
Or,
right?
Or 2 hour, 6 sessions. So like you're coming in here 6 times to achieve that, fully perfect blonde.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you'll have all those answers, and you won't be left with sticker shock at the counter. That's a huge thing for me. And what I was going to say secondarily is, like, it gets me the opportunity to know your lifestyle. Maybe you want that look, but you're not equipped with the knowledge, and again, that's perfectly fine, of what goes into achieving and maintaining that look. A lot of the time, and I used to be of this world too, so before I say this, no judgment. But we get people who are in the salon probably twice a year, 1 or 2 times a year, is one of the most common answers that I get. And then you want this very well highlighted look, and that's fine. But understanding the upkeep and stuff like that can go a long way into that decision-making process.
Absolutely.
To know if it's something suitable for you or not. And then if not, that doesn't mean we're out of answers, but then I'll have more in which to guide you to something that's more suitable.
Yeah. So like you're saying, like a heavily highlighted or a heavily, almost looking like a blonde instead of your brunette or something.
Yeah.
You need to come in more often. If that's not reality, then a lived-in look is better.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah. So there's always an answer, definitely, for what your lifestyle.
Piggybacking on that, I do hate saying no, but when we have to, we will.
Yeah.
Because, the other thing we don't want to do, myself especially, I don't know, maybe not especially, we don't want to set you up for failure. I don't want to set you up for something that you're not going to be able to maintain and have fun with and find it easy to operate day to day. That's not ideal. Might look great for the Instagram and stuff like that, but week 2, week 3, month 2, month 3, you're screaming my name in agony. So,
Actually, that's a really good point right there. I mean, we talk about it all the time. We are so happy that you love your hair when you leave. The honest truth is you absolutely should, because we just did your hair, right? We took 2 hours, 1 hour, whatever we took to do your hair. We styled it. We have the knowledge. We have the education. We should be doing that. You should be walking out the door feeling fantastic, and we love that. What we really want you to do is 4 or 6 weeks from then, when you're due to come back, we still want you to love your hair. So we're always thinking ahead. So what, exactly what Kevin said, we're always thinking, how is this color going to fade? How is this haircut going to look in 6 weeks or 8 weeks when you're coming back? Because we want you to look good for the whole time good. You're not with us, and feel good. Yes. So that's a huge one, Kevin. Big. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I feel personally that's one that I never understood myself. I'd go into these salon environments with, pictures of Brad Pitt and stuff like that. And it's like, make me look like him.
Me too. I don't want to look like Brad Pitt. But well, maybe my husband. No, I'm joking.
Angelina Jolie. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. Wow, that's dated. Anyway.
I love Jennifer Aniston. I know still people are pulling out Jennifer Aniston photos, so we'll go with
to
that
this day.
Instead of Angelina.
To this day.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, that's fine. But I never had the knowledge of like how much it cost. That was always fun to find out. Because I had no idea what went into it, right? So I didn't know how to value all that. And then you get to the front counter and you're like, pardon?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Can I wash dishes in the back or something? Like,
I'll wash hair.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Will work for highlights.
Yeah.
Once I saw the work, it made more sense.
Right.
But I might have selected something else.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I might have appreciated other options or,
Yeah.
you know, more knowledge into what I was signing myself up for.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think talking about budget is very, very important because, like you said, there are solutions.
Mhm.
Like we could do sessions, or we could do, if you're like, that is, out of my budget. Okay, we could do, what we call a T section or a half a head instead of full. There are things that we can work around.
We're never out of options.
Yeah, so don't ever feel like, oh, I can't do that. Then let's discuss what we can do. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's like I said, session. So you do a T section,
Mm-hmm.
and then you do half head, and then you do a full, and then you do a T section. Like it's so it does. We definitely want to work with you on your budget as well.
And sometimes when you pivot, you end up loving what that is.
It's true.
More than what you had idealized originally.
It's true.
You know, you're
That's
like, oh my
absolutely
God, this looks so cool. I never thought about this.
Yeah.
Which, I've had to do a couple times because of exactly what you mentioned. I was outside of the scope of what they were expecting. And when it was introduced to them, they were like, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, I get that. But without that information, you don't know,
Yeah.
It's
true.
So then we pivot into something else, using that information of what they do, who they are, what they like, how they dress, face shape, and
Yes,
and length of
that's
hair,
important.
texture, billions of things. And I was able to customize something that, really spoke to her.
Yeah. So let's flip it over then. So what makes the consultation important to us as hairstylists?
Oh, knowing that I'm going to be successful with the job. And I don't mean like in terms of, I don't know, like looking like a hair model off Instagram for that one day. I mean, making sure that I can do the job without damaging your hair beyond repair or anything like that. Or feeling like I'm rushed or something like that, because now I understand the scope of time in which I need and require to work and do that job. I'm sure we've been in that situation where your stylist walks away and your foils are processing and processing and processing, and they're working with somebody else. You're like, this has been on my head for 3 hours.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah.
Or on the opposite end of that spectrum, they are tearing through your hair like a 5-minute job because they are out of time and they need to get going. That consultation gives me the information that I need to make sure that does not happen. Right?
Yeah.
No art should be rushed. You can't rush art.
Yeah. That's true. Yes. And here we do test strands.
I was about to mention that.
Yeah, so walk them through a test strand and why it's important.
Yeah. We take like a small sliver of hair, usually in the back for a few different reasons. First of all, so you can't see it. If for whatever reason we can't go through with that blonding service or whatever it is, I don't want you to see this this one little highlight in the back of your head. But also because that's the most protected hair you have, so it's the most resilient and resistant. If there's any hair on your head that's going to give me a hard time, that's where she is. But that test strand, even though it's on your head for 10 minutes, and that's a fraction of the time of most of those services, in fact, I'll probably say all of those services, it gives me the information that I need to know as to what weapons to take into combat with me to get that done, and how long it's going to take. We use something, let's say we're lifting for highlights, we use something very middle of the road, something super standard, so that we know if we have to use something a little more potent or something a little more gentle, we can get away with not using something so powerful. And all of that goes into making sure that the integrity is still well intact afterwards.
Yeah, big time.
Right?
Yeah.
They help.
Integrity, achievement. Those are kind of the biggest two for a test strand.
Yeah, and helping you utilize your expectations and understand what you're going to achieve in the end results. My hair is a great example. It is very, very hard to lift my hair. My grandfather had naturally copper hair, and even though that's not my hair color on the outside, it is definitely on the inside. So when I try and bleach my hair, I oftentimes get stuck in that kind of brassy, orangey yellow phase of blonding. And so getting to the color I am now took some time. But, you know, utilizing the test strand and prior experience and stuff like that, and note taking, which is something we do as well, I knew what I was signing up for, you know, and what I was going to look like after that first session, after that second session, and going into the third, which is ultimately how long it took.
Right.
So,
Yeah. And I'm the same, but I just stay away from it.
Yeah.
Because I just stay dark or red because I well, having curly hair too, it's harder on, you have more frizz present when you're curly. There's a tip for you.
Yes.
And it's harder to manage, so I just go darker.
And especially when you blonde it too, then you're kind of pushing all of those across the edge. Like, oh, you thought you were frizzy before.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, now I'm a Q-tip.
Right, exactly. There's ways
that.
around that, but exactly what you said, you don't want that.
No, I don't want to. Yeah, I deal with, you know, enough frizz. I'm okay with it. But some people want the blonde, and that's cool. We have products and things that could help with that for sure. And like, I could put a lot of product in my hair and make it look good. I would know how, but I don't want it.
And I think that's another thing to note about consultation too. I will talk about product with you, so that you understand that that is also a tool. I think people don't know how to look at products as tools, but they are honestly as important as a blow dryer, flat iron, curling iron, whatever that is. In fact, maybe even more important than those tools, I'll say. You know, each piece is utilized in making sure that that integrity is there, that your color is strong and long lasting, and that your hair continues to feel you know, perfect and well and healthy and not stressful.
Yeah, and it aids you and for whatever you need. Like, you know, we have products that are for the inside of your hair to help repair or keep it well, and then we have styling products, so that'll help you style, and then like finishing products, like everybody knows what a hairspray is, you know, maybe you need that. Now, not everybody needs a hairspray, not everybody needs, you know, to fix damage. I don't have any damage from it. I don't know about damage, but you have
keep
blonde.
That camera far away from me.
You would have a different set of products than I would.
Yes.
And it is important to let the person know. We had chatted earlier about, you know, if they wanted to go fully blonde.
Yep.
You know, there's a lot to that. Products is one of the things that is to it, because you need to keep that looking shiny and healthy and happy. So your products might change because you're doing that.
And like, before I went to a stylist who was going to educate me in that, a lot of my information was coming from online and commercials and stuff like that, which oftentimes, advertisements more so, I'll say that for, are not real. They're not based in reality.
No.
But as we said before, what you're hearing online may be. But for that one canvas, for that one hair type, you know, or something like that.
Sure.
So, you know, I didn't know there was different kinds of hairsprays or different kinds of hold, or to facilitate different reasons or purposes. You know, I was of that world where I had my puck of putty, and I dipped my hand in and I just kind of put it in like that. Like, is that how? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's a
now
big,
get that in there, mess it up.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that's one thing that, you know, we're talking about consultations. That's one thing that we do as well. We show you how to style your hair and how to put in the product.
Yeah.
How much you need, how much all of that stuff, because that is important. That is part of knowing and how to keep your hair look good for those 6 to 8 weeks when we don't see you.
Yeah.
Right? So,
or how it feels, you know. If anybody's curious about the products that I have, I always say, like, try them out. I'll get you a towel if you want to wipe it off, or you can use my water spray bottle to, like, spray it off your hands. Yeah. They're beneficial for the skin too, most of them.
They are, so.
But I can understand why you don't want to walk around with a wax on your hands.
Yeah. Most like prep products you could just leave in, but when you're doing like a hairspray,
probably want to wash that off. But you know, for some things, seeing is believing. For a lot of the times, for us, feeling is believing, and I think that's part of the reason we do a hair wash as well. You know, if I'm going to invest in a new cleanser and conditioner for my routine, I want to know what it's like. It's great you're telling me all this information about my hair and stuff like that and what it can utilize or benefit from. But until I work physically with that one product,
Yeah.
I might not believe it.
Yeah.
You know? So
People like, the other thing about that is people like the smell
yeah.
of shampoos and conditioners in general. And that is one thing that they want to know.
Yeah.
They want to know how it smells,
Yeah.
how it's going to feel.
Especially if they're scent sensitive and stuff like that.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Um,
That is definitely one thing that we
I
want to make sure we use.
I can thoroughly say though that there is no Euphoria product that I don't really enjoy the scent of.
Me either.
Most of them I love even.
I love it.
Yeah.
But I do know, like, some people are like, they don't like mint.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a couple of shampoo and conditioner that is menthol, camphor, and peppermint, which is quite strong to smell, right? So if you don't like that at all,
It can be potent.
then you won't want it.
But I feel like
also
when I
love
use
them.
those, when I'm walking around, I don't smell like Christmas. You know.
Right.
Sorry,
No,
I know
you
that
don't.
appeals to
I
you.
know, I love
Yeah.
it. But no, it's actually, Euphoria is very, like, it dissipates. It
Yeah.
doesn't hold on.
Yeah.
Unless
If
you're,
you
like,
give
right
somebody a
up in
hug or
yeah, you might smell it.
it's gonna be
But
pleasant.
it's clean
Yeah.
anyway, so you smell it in a mint garden. You smell the same.
I usually say it doesn't
Yeah.
enter the room before you do. Like
Yes.
colognes
Yeah,
do,
yeah.
perfumes do.
It's not
you know.
hanging out in the elevator when you leave.
Mhm. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. That's cute.
Yeah. So let's just chat about, like, I'm sure most of our world now, hairstylists are doing consultations. I mean,
Good.
there was always, you know, that there, but sometimes we just didn't. We didn't learn it or whatever,
Mhm.
right? But I think now the world's coming more and more.
Yeah.
And you know what? It is for the guests, but it's important for us too, like we
Very.
said. So let's just talk about what are some of the questions we ask on our. Do you know them all? offhand?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, okay,
definitely.
okay.
We've kind of talked about most of them
We have.
already, but like how often do you see yourself in the salon?
Mhm.
Very important to know for many different reasons. Haircut, hair color, blonding, you know, that all falls into that, understanding that routine, what you have at home in terms of products or tools. Again, I see them the same, but helps us understand kind of what your target focus is with your hair or what your biggest obstacle you feel is. And that's most important, how you feel about your hair.
Mhm.
I do not care if it's happening or not. If you feel like it is, then it is, and I need to solve it. And you know, if you're bringing photo inspiration to me, which I love, please always
we
do
do
that,
like that. Yeah.
right? If I see this maximally windswept, blown out look, but you don't own a blow dryer, you know,
Yeah, we
I'm
need
going to
to-
be talking to you about what that means for your hair.
Yeah.
Not impossible to get something similar, but you have to have almost a one-to-one hair type with something suitable for that.
Yeah.
Or I'll talk to you about appropriate tools to use to get that look. And you know, I always ask as well, and it's on our consultation record, what your concerns are starting today.
Yeah.
You know, so that I can roadmap for you what our future visits are going to be. If I can take care of all of those for us in one fell swoop, in one visit, amazing, perfect. And then we can find out afterwards what to add to it to make it even more perfect. There's always something to add.
Well, everything involved.
Right?
Right.
Yeah, completely. Even if you feel like you have perfect hair, have you heard of hair tinsel? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, add that in.
yes,
Why not?
right?
There's always something to add.
Yeah.
But if you mark off, you know, I feel like it's frizzy, I feel like it's dry, I feel like it's oily, I need a new haircut, I've been thinking about color. Now I know what excites you in the hair world or what you kind of look for or hope for, and I'll be able to customize your experience to get you that. And then, you know, wash routine as well.
Yes.
You know, if you're coming from an everyday shampoo, maybe that's not appropriate, maybe it is, but I'll help you understand that. I was of the world where you did wash every single day. That's what I was taught by my parents. Hi, Mom and Dad. Not to blame. But, you know, it's just what we did. And maybe it's because I was a kid and I was getting dirty. I'm an indoor cat now, but I wasn't when I was a child. I was
Right.
feral. But I was in the swamp. I was in the woods.
Yeah.
I was running around, getting messy, getting muddy.
Yeah.
So maybe an everyday wash cycle was better.
Yeah.
In this circumstance. But, you know, as an adult, I'm not in the swamp anymore.
Yeah.
I might smell like that sometimes, but according to Camille, my co-stylist, no, I'm not.
You're only in the salon swamp.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
smells pretty good.
It does smell good. It smells mostly like pure polish.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
Right?
Smells like candy.
Swedish berries.
Swedish berries,
Yeah. But that can really help me understand as well what's going on. What else would I ask? Sensitivities. A big one,
Yeah,
you know?
That is a good one.
If we just launch into things and don't ask you about any of your sensitivities that you might have, that might not be the most comfortable visit, you know? Or I'll be recommending product as well that's not going to be helpful in that scenario.
Yeah.
So I love that question's on there. And then we also ask about birthdays and, you know, identification, how you identify, pronouns and stuff like that. Very important to us that, you know, we make your visit as comfortable and as knowledgeable as possible.
Yeah. We want you to feel safe and comfortable.
Yeah.
100%. We always say, like, you know, this is our home, this is your home. So,
Yeah, mi casa su casa.
however it needs to be to make you feel comfortable.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And us comfortable then too, right?
Yeah.
Because sometimes if somebody's like really uncomfortable, then we start to feel a little uncomfortable, and we don't want that. We want everybody to be happy to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And hey, if you do come to our salon and you are uncomfortable, we get it.
Yeah.
You're coming to a new spot and you're trusting new people with your wellness. That is vulnerability maximum. So don't feel like you should come into here feeling completely comfortable. That's our aim.
Yeah.
That's how we want you to feel at all times. But we have ways to facilitate a little bit of that uneasiness too.
Yeah.
We do have the benefit of having a private room that's visually private, a little more soundproof as well.
Which we're in right now.
I was about to say we're in it right now, and
Yeah.
there's chatting happening out there. There's blow drying happening out there, not currently, but you know, you don't hear so much of that. And sometimes when you're feeling overwhelmed, having a little more of a private space to facilitate those services can help.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And if you want that every time, perfect.
Yeah.
It's here.
Yeah, it's here.
Book it in.
Yeah.
I kind of forget where I was going with that, but
surprise.
Yeah, it happened. I was doing so well.
You know, we were just, you know, we want everybody to feel comfortable here.
Yeah.
What were we talking about? I don't know how we got there. I don't know. Anyway.
Tangential.
We were talking about questions asked in the consultation. I feel like you mostly covered them. I mean, of course, we're going to ask you about the color and the haircut and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really
my God. If you were pleased with your last services.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Another huge question.
Yeah.
I won't ask you to name names or name salons.
No.
That's unfair.
No.
But and I probably will obsess. So, but you know, it's important to know, you know, kind of what happened or what you feel happened to lead to not being so satisfied.
Yeah.
I know we're gonna do all we can to make sure that you're satisfied here. But you know, sometimes I have had people mark that they were pleased with their last service.
Yeah, for sure.
At their last place.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the times in that case it is because they moved away. Either the stylist moved or they did.
Yep.
But you know, that can also really help.
At the end of the day too, like you can overall like your haircut, but there's one thing that you didn't like about it.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, that happens here too.
Yep.
Right? I've had repeat guests in my chair all like for years, and I'll say I was the last haircut, and they'll be like, it was good. And I'm like, okay, but you know, like how was it?
Notice
there's
you didn't use the word great.
Right?
Yeah.
There's this like one part that I couldn't style. I just kept flipping up, which was most likely my fault, right? So I can dive deeper, or you could dive deeper into that. It doesn't have to be like, I hated my haircut. And, you know, I had one problem styling it. That's the other thing we asked.
Yep.
Did you have any issues styling your hair?
Yes.
Because if you have any type of texture, you know, we want to know how we can help you with that, because texture is an animal. And you might need a product. You might need to know how to angle your blow dryer or your flatter. Like it could be something simple, but we really want you to love your hair and for 6 to 8 weeks, right? So we really want to get into it. So it's not negative. It doesn't
No.
have to be a negative.
Nope.
It can just be like, let's tackle that issue and give you a solution.
I think it falls back into what you started with, which is you know your hair better than we do.
Yes.
And that could come down to the difference. Maybe the perfect, maybe the haircut was perfect for what we do here. But then you go home and you have your own technique and your own way of things. And that piece of the haircut, while it worked for our blowout, didn't work for yours at home.
Yep.
It can be customized. That's absolutely fine. We're always open to the dialogue to explore what's happening to make it even better.
Yeah.
Always. Whenever I'm working with a new stylist, one of the most important things that I want them to understand is to not take feedback critically or personally. It's not an assault.
No.
It's not an attack on who you are, either as an artist or as a person. It is feedback on how to grow and get better and understand that one person's hair better too.
Yeah. And going back to that again, when we said it, is your hair is different than everybody else's. So everybody's hair is individual.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like you said, you're getting to know that hair.
Yep.
And it's not a criticism. It's getting better with that head of hair.
From mother to daughter, father to son, sisters, brothers, doesn't matter. I have twins in my family, and their hair is different from one another.
Yeah.
Everything visually looks similar.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it is.
No, it's
So,
true. They could have a cow look and the other twin doesn't.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah. Or I was dropped as a baby. I had to dance, I'm kidding. I'm
This
kidding.
side of my head just goes a little flat.
No volume.
I need extra
Yeah.
volume there. Yeah, no. Can you imagine?
Well,
But yeah, I think, it's really, a consultation is super important to let you know the answers that you're looking for, and we'll explain it to you, and then to let us know the answers we need to know, if that makes sense. I said that a lot.
yeah, no,
Because setting us up for success sets you up for success, right?
Mhm.
So a consultation is super important, and we demand them here.
Mhm.
And it's okay if you feel like you don't need one, but the more information we're armed with, the better your hair is going to be.
Mm-hmm. I can understand in a world where it's so now.
Mhm.
Everything's
Yeah, for sure.
time sensitive. Why somebody might hear that and say like, "Ooh, why?"
Yeah.
But they're beautiful. They give me everything. They give you everything. And until you have
true.
one, I don't know.
And we're just about out of time, but I'm gonna leave with this. I always say that finding a hairdresser or like coming to us and you're new, is kind of like dating.
I was about to say the same thing. I was gonna say this might sound weird, but
It is though. So when we meet you for a consultation, if we're doing a haircut, you're getting a consultation and then we do the haircut. We're learning about you. It's kind of that ice breaking, like I get to know about you. If you're doing a color, we do a conversation and then we book in. But every time you come is like the second date, the third date, the fourth date. And we get to know you. We get to know you personally more, but we get to know your hair more and more and more.
Mhm.
So if you are unsure, first of all, we always want to hear from you if you're unsure. We want to make you happy.
completely.
So, for sure, call us and let us know if there's an adjustment needed or you just want to have a conversation. We're always here for you. But just know that every time we get to know a little more about your hair is just going to get better and better and better.
Yeah. I like how you said personally and for the hair. Yes.
Yeah, right?
Exactly.
Because you just build on a relationship with them. And we that's the amazing part about our job. We get to meet so many people and everything, but at the end of the day, every time we see you, which we love, we just get to know you and your hair better and better, and it's just becomes amazing.
I want to quickly say, I know
Yeah.
we're running out of time, but I have recently a lot of kids coming to me for hair services, which I love. Somebody recommended me on a Facebook group for mothers in London. So yeah, beautiful,
Awesome.
right? And Nikki, the other salon owner, your co-owner, brought up a really good point about having children as guests, where they have dances, they have prom, they have grads, they have all these different life chapters that, you know, should you get the chance, you get to be a part of that. I think that's magical,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And then they get married, they graduate college, university, they start having kids, they might recommend their friends to come see you. Like the dynamic of that family tree and what that relationship means grows, and I think that's beautiful.
Yeah, we get to be part of some pretty special things in
Yeah.
people's lives.
Yeah.
Some hard things too, but
Oh, of
You know
course.
what?
Everything's an up and down.
yeah,
Yeah.
we just get to be there and make them look as good as they can, and
And
moments
as well
like
as
that.
they can.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, okay, awesome. So we're just telling you, you know, you need a consultation, even if you feel like you know, it really is important, and if anything, you're gonna learn something about your own hair, which is super important. Thanks for joining me and talking about consultations today.
Yeah, absolutely. And I look forward to consulting with you guys about your hair and your journey.
Yeah, if you're in London, Ontario, please don't hesitate to call. You can book on our website. We'd love to see you. Complimentary consultations, even if you just want to have a conversation. Kevin loves to talk, so.
I don't know if they've learned that by now.
They will.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. It's just all informative, so it's great. We hope to see you in the salon. Have a great day, guys.